This man used to work at Blizzard and tells a tale of abuse and bad treatment and gaslighting and so on. I want to read this for a few reasons. First of all, I have a long history with Blizzard because I was a Warcraft 3 and a StarCraft 2 pro gamer. I actually applied to work at Blizzard twice. I was pretty young and inexperienced, so I wouldn't compare it to one of your own job applications with a serious resume and everything. I had connections at Blizzard, and the suggestion was sometimes raised there might be a spot for me there. And I really loved Blizzard, so I thought maybe it could be cool, so I applied for 2 different positions at different points in my life. More about that another time. But I want to read this, first of all, to see what happened. Curious. Secondly, grateful that it didn't happen to me. I'm pretty glad with where I am at right now in Twitch and in YouTube. And thirdly, to, I guess get more awareness about what's happening at Blizzard. So let's take a look. Enough time has passed now for me to talk about why I decided to leave Blizzard, says Chris. A mix here with great teammates, but a management that mistreated, lied to me, gaslit me, gave me a fake promotion, and HR that refused to help. Buckle up. I want to start by saying all the people I got to work with on Team 4 Overwatch 2 were incredible. They were warm, welcoming, fun, friendly, talented. There were so many great people. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, I spent most of a year stressed out of my mind, working 4 people's jobs at once. How is that possible? 4 people's jobs at once. I have never worked in a corporate environment, but I think probably I'm taking things too literal or too logical when I read it. Like, you are responsible for more, you're putting in more time than a normal 9 to 5, you're responsible for more, but there's no way you could actually do that, right? Unless you normally have 8 hours at work, but you spend 3 of it productively. You do your job to give you more work. Yeah, I'm just thinking 40 hours a week, 160 hours a week, it doesn't compute. I think I need to take this not literally. Right? I need to take them not literally. So he had more responsibilities. I am sometimes quite literal, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm that neurodivergent. But sometimes I take things too literally. I guess it's just a lack of common sense. Having management make promises they had no intention of fulfilling, and I ultimately felt like I had no choice but to leave for my own mental health. It means he did more than his role asked him to. Okay. In July of 23, I was invited to a meeting by art leadership and production to let me know they were interested in promoting me to lead visual effects artist of the cosmetics team. Skins, emotes, play the games, etc. I had only been there for 6 months, and I told them basically, if you're sure, LOL. But before accepting, I was adamant that we were all on the same page about the full role, what it meant, what I would be doing, and also what the promotion would come with. Pay increase, title change, and confirmed all of those details before going further. Yeah, some forced overtime. Dutch people are in general literal, and you're worse than the average. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Thanks. At least now I know where it's coming from, Parso. But before accepting, I was adamant that we would all be on the same page about the full role. What it meant, what I would be doing, and also what the promotion would come with. Pay increase, title change, and I confirmed all of those details before going further. These conversations included other lead visual effects, art directors, associate art directors, production directions, and also HR. And as we were all happy, I started the job effective immediately, with the details to come at the end of the week in writing. Now, I think some people will point out, don't start unless you've got your contract solid. What I noticed, worse than the average Dutch kick. We'll get back to that later, Tridanison. I have many times in an industry that I'm passionate about accepted good faith agreements before having something on paper. Usually it was okay. Sometimes it wasn't. I never regretted anything. Because a lot of business is also network and relations and your insight into people and whether people are shitting you or whether they're not shitting you. That's all part of life. And sometimes you will take deals and you don't have the contract in solid yet, and they say it's going to come later, and they might be trying to scam you, or they might just be behind on their admin, or they just want to get you started. I don't think starting something without a contract immediately is necessarily a stupid thing to do or gullible. Do you guys agree or disagree? But that was more of a freelance deal, not a full-time job. Yeah, I've never had a full-time job contract. Everything I've ever done has been on some form of either temporary vacation job, like when I was a kid, newspaper, hardware store. Then I've had independent contractorships where I'm in essentially some kind of like partnership with brands or teams. It's never been like a full-time, dental plan, pay time off, everything. So work is work. You need contracts these days. It's a must, said someone. Sometimes it's okay. In general, I think it's stupid. I don't think it's gullible, but it shows the organization of the person setting it up. That's what reputation is for. It's nice to be safe, but better to give people the benefit of the doubt. Reputation is important in many fields. And I would say that like reputation is relatively important in esports. Eventually, you know which people to avoid. But of course, maybe newbies, like 16-year-olds, they won't know who to avoid. But I would say I make pretty solid decisions these days compared to 15 years ago with who I'm going to work with. If something looks a bit dodgy, I'm not going to do it without a contract. Someone that I have a really good opinion about, it's going to be feel more safe. But coming from a company like Blizzard, it feels a bit more red flaggy. But I think you can't imagine, especially... Well, this is in 2023. To be fair, I feel like maybe you could see it coming from Blizzard in 23. If this was 2013... If this was in 2013 and you're like, oh my god, surprise Pikachu, Blizzard tried to scam me. In 2013, I would be extremely shocked, and I would definitely accept work from Blizzard without a contract. But in 23, it's a little bit naive. He looks fairly young. Maybe he hasn't followed all the different things that Blizzard has been doing differently. Alternative to what's great. Anyway, let's continue. The new role was all of my existing responsibilities and workload as a senior, becoming a line manager for 3 people immediately, managing our entire outsourced visual effects pipeline in China. Wow. Wow. Plus additional lead. So they're outsourcing graphics to China. For Reforged, they outsourced to Malaysia, Lemon Sky, I think. And so now they're doing visual effects from China. Okay. Plus additional lead things, planning, and much more meetings. Lemon Sky, yeah. This is why you should make a contract. So far, he could well just make up his story to smear Blizzard. Well, let's say everything is alleged, right? And maybe in a week from now, Blizzard responds, and they write their own story about him. Friday of that week comes, nothing. But the production director does announce my promotion to lead to the whole team on the Thursday. It's official. It's happening. The whole team knows. I even tweet about it because I'm so excited. We're all Gucci. They sent an email out at work announcing my promotion to the team, and everybody's being so nice and saying nice things. And then he just was so excited, he just pressed enter. On my first week as lead, my new manager tells me that we are going to have to fire one of my new reports because he won't. What is RTO? He's waiting for a medical accommodation. Return to office. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. What's the reason for companies to want employees to return to office? Do they believe it's better productivity, or is it about control? It's a control, I think, right? They may suspect it increases productivity, but it's also about control. I think a lot of them are worried that you can do 8 hours worth of work in 3 hours. Both. And I think you should be allowed to do your responsibilities in half the time if that's what they're paying you for. Everyone should be rewarded for working faster. personally rewarded and satisfied. Another lead on the team offers to deliver the news for me. Oh wait, on my first week as lead, my new manager tells me we're gonna have to fire one of my new reports because he won't do return to office. And I said he's waiting for a medical accommodation because he's a carer for his parents. Yeah, we're not gonna do that for a junior. Fire him. Another lead on the team offers to deliver the news for me because it's my first week as lead. Oh, so there's multiple lead on the team. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, could make sense. And the person we're supposed to fire is one of my closest friends. He's given until the end of the month to either relocate or leave. We're all distraught. This guy doesn't seem distraught. But yeah, everyone else is that had a nice working relationship with him. I'm now doing my senior role, my lead role, and now all the work that this great VFX artist was doing. They then refused to hire an intern, another one of my reports, who is incredibly talented and we all love, so I add all the work they were going to do to my plate. Isn't that kind of an issue already? I mean, this guy seems really nice and self-sacrificing, which means he's like an ideal employee for Blizzard. I'm thinking you don't just add it to your own plate, because you're thinking up there they're not aware of how much problems we're going to have with our pipeline when they fire all these people. But then you're also not making them aware by not making it a problem by just shouldering it onto yourself. But maybe he's afraid of his own job if he doesn't do it. So he has like this vision that the job needs to be done, so he just does it, which is admirable in a way. But I'm thinking probably if you're more experienced and you can see where it's going and you can see what they're doing, maybe you would be like, you would go to your management and be like, what are the plans for you to be able for me to steer this kind of work without the people that needed to do it? If you do this, you get taken advantage of, right? Because then they just see, like, I mean, I don't know, like you go to the management and say like, are there any plans to hire, or who is going to take over this responsibility? Because I think he's being too nice maybe and unaware of like how hard it's going to be, or he thinks they'll come up with a solution. Like he's too trusting of them. I'm now doing my senior role, my lead role, and all the work that this great VFX artist was doing. They then refused to hire. Yeah, a month goes by. I now have sent an email or Slack message every other day to find out what's happening with the pay increase and title change. Oh, maybe he's afraid if he like complains or if he brings up the problem of lack of man-force, that he's going to be seen as troublesome and that they will then withdraw this pay and title increase that they had promised him but haven't actually put in writing, which also brings across the problem of starting to announce your new position, which actually adds public humiliation risk. Because now if you're not the perfect employee in his mind, then they could take it away, and you already announced it on social media, which is actually good for them because you've already gotten the accolades from your friends and family. So it's going to be very humiliating if you get knocked down again. This is also why people don't announce their pregnancy in the first 2 months, right? Because you're like, oh my God, this great thing is going to happen. And then, you know, with the risk that it's not going to happen, suddenly you have to go out there and say it, and it sucks. Of course, that's a bigger scale of calamity. But I would argue a job is also extremely important. So it's actually playing into the hands of the company when you announce your promotion before it's in writing. I then discover that I'm earning less than 50% of every other lead VFX artist at Blizzard. So much so that as a lead, my salary is lower than every person I'm managing. I send more emails. I'm told it's because I'm in the UK and my salary is based on market value, not my value. Oh, man. Oh, that sucks. I have heard some programmers talk about how pay in US for the same programming job can be 2 to 3 times as high as in like Europe or Netherlands or something. 2, 3, or 4 times as high. And then that's somewhat offset by certain costs of living that might be higher in US, and like the social system and tax difference and so on. But overall, it seems like you can just make more banks in US. As a software dev, I can confirm salary in US is insane compared to over here. Yeah, I've heard that. Like multitudes different, and I don't think that the whole tax and social system and everything around it actually downwards compensates the US salary enough to make it equal. I think you just make more living in US, even after cost of living. I mean, it depends where you live. If you're gonna live in San Francisco, then, you know, 6,000 rent for a small condo, then maybe it's not true anymore. But does this make sense? Let's say if I have someone working for me and I know they're from Moldavia, and I've got someone else working for me and they're from US, they do the same job equally good. Am I gonna pay one 7 times as much than the other? Moldova. Not Moldavia. Moldova. I don't know, I'm not a CEO. I don't know too. If they're easily replaceable, it makes sense. Because I think usually for pro gaming salaries, for professional gamers, it wasn't much based on where you were from. It was just based on other players of similar level and marketability. Which actually means that it was far more worth it to be a pro gamer coming from, I don't know, Moldova or Serbia than Norway. Because Norway has such high tax, high cost of living, and high salary in other industries. Is it really a salary? Professional gamers get sponsored, no, and prize money? Yeah, there's, of course, pro gamers get salary. They're not... Pro gamers are generally, at least in my time, maybe now it's different. You're not a full-time employee for a company as a pro gamer. You have a contract. It could be a year contract, could be 2, could be 3 years, and you're going to get a sum of money per month, which they think you're worth in order to maintain their sponsors and marketing and product sales that they may have, like shirts or whatever. Aren't companies hiring in other countries to reduce costs? Yeah. If they would pay the same, they would rather hire someone who lives nearby, right? Yeah. So maybe this does make sense, because it's not like if he gets paid the same as the others, but he gets to live remote in another country, then the other lead VFX might be unhappy about it, because they're like, oh my god, this guy gets paid the same, but he can go anywhere. We are forced to return to office. Okay, so I think this by itself does not seem to be a large issue. I ask HR if they think that it is ethically okay to pay me less than 50% of every person for doing the same job. They said, why would we pay you more than we have to? That doesn't make any business sense. I'm realizing I'm talking to a person who doesn't give a shit about people. This feels very emotional to me. I feel like so far, it's not that I like, love, or defend Blizzard, but so far I think he's relatively responsible for the position that he's in. He's young and inexperienced. That was what it feels like. I can't imagine grandstanding morally in front of a board of directors or a company and asking them if they care about people. HR. Yeah, he said HR. I know HR is there to protect the company from liabilities, not to make you feel good. If you want that, you need a coach, like a mental coach or a psych or something. Someone that helps you with burnout. Those people are going to be there to make you feel good, right? Of course, Blizzard is wrong for promising a position, but then not delivering the contract. I can't imagine wanting to do that to an employee either. But he's at least... I'm not going to say he's responsible for that, but I feel like his inexperience did not protect him. Like his lack of experience made this much more possible. Let's go on, see if it gets worse. Another month passes and I get to August and turns out, no, it's actually September now for some reason. Don't worry, it's coming. It's definitely promotion. There's definitely a pay increase. You know, I went through the same shit. I may not have worked in a corporate environment for a company with an office in a cubicle or whatever, right? I've never been a full-time employee, but I went through shit like this with my early esports teams, where they were paying a month late and then 3 months late because my son didn't have a birthday present, and so I cannot give you the salary yet. And oh, the sponsor didn't pay me the money yet, so can you wait another month? It's 6 months now, and then it's 12 months, right? But I was 18, 19, 20, 21, so I was also inexperienced. I didn't stand for anything, so I fell for everything. Of course, it's shitty by them to do it. I continue to be overworked, exhausted, but hopeful. Another few weeks pass, it's getting to 3 months being a lead, so I send an email out to everyone, director... Oh, shit. I sent an email out to everyone, director, VP, HR, leads, you name it, telling them if there's no written information by September 1st, I'll stop doing the role immediately. The way I see it, this is a bad move. You're trying to shame and publicly humiliate people that may be deserving of critique, but now you're making everyone lose face. And at this point, there's no more saving the situation. There's not going to be a place for you at the company anymore, no matter what. It is a move, but you might as well just leave with your head high, stand on your principle, say what you're going to do to the one person that needs hearing it, and then just do it and look for something else. Like this, you shame everyone's face, which means no one has a way out to save face anymore. That means now everyone's an enemy. And what's he gonna expect? That like 10 people that support him, his friends, are gonna lay down their arms as well and quit their job if he doesn't get what he wants? If that was his outcome, then he should talk to them first and they make a together move or whatever. But I think you contact one guy that is responsible for you. You let them know that the situation is not acceptable for you anymore, and you understand if they don't have a place for you at the company anymore, or whatever. Like, you still like the company and you want to do the job, but the responsibilities you have are too many. You had an understanding you'd be going up in responsibility. Growth is important for you. You're ambitious. You want to keep growing, but if that is not possible for the company right now, then I'm gonna look for something else now. And so you don't make it look like a threat and ultimatum, and you don't shame the responsible person to anyone else that doesn't have any shit to do with it, like your colleagues or your friends or whatever. No? Thank you, Alkalia. And thank you, Adulthood.
I like your content equals.
He tried to reach out, but they weren't answering him. Right, okay, well then you have your answer, right? If your underling reaches out to you and says, I need to have my pay reflect my responsibilities, and I need more help to do the positions that I'm doing right now because I'm already doing more than what is expected and it's still not enough. I need more people on this job. If they don't react, then they know that's tantamount to saying no, right? Like, they know you know, they know they know. If you want to keep someone badly enough, you're not going to let those queries go unanswered. And if you don't care and you don't respect someone, then you are going to leave it unanswered because you're like, what you going to do about it, chump? Or they're like, you already realize your value if they don't answer then. Grubby, are you saying he should quit after the shit he's been through? So what harms is doing a power play? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying don't do a power play ever. Just say what you're going to do and then do it. Because what's the point for you to burn bridges for yourself first? To make enemies? Once you realize what your prospects are in a company, then just ask for what you want, and if it's not going to happen, you have to find something else. I know that might be easier said than done, but like, he's trying to create leverage where there isn't any. The leverage being social pressure and shame, public humiliation. He's picking a fight with people he knows and people he doesn't know, all at the same time.
I agree, Grubby, the way he went about it is dead end. There is no good outcome that will come out of him going nuclear. I agree he needs leave wiggle room for your stakeholders to make a case for you. Been in the industry for a while now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he has no leverage. He has leverage with having sustained high pressure for 3 months. No, that's not leverage. You misunderstand leverage. He has shown hard work and determination, but he's also shown naivety and the ability to be abused by his company. That's not leverage. Leverage is where if you withdraw your support or if you stop doing this thing, they're in trouble. That's leverage. So if Blizzard has a deadline and he's the only one that can do it and he quits now and they're going to be in trouble, that's leverage. Then point that out to one person that you are responsible to. You say, I know we're about to release this game and I'm good at what I do. I've been doing it and I don't think anyone else can do it as well as I. You promised me a title and a pay increase and I accepted. I'm excited about it and I'm ambitious about it, but it's not happened yet. And it's important to me that we follow through on that agreement. I would like to keep working here. So can you make that happen soon or now, whatever, right? And if not, I understand and I will need to pursue other opportunities hesitantly, or I will start to need to consider other opportunities. Then they will know, like if they need you, they have to keep you, they have to make things right. That's leverage. But if there's nothing like that and someone else could do your job, then you don't have leverage. Then you just have to say what's important to you and accept that if they don't follow through, then you're going to go somewhere else. Nobody's irreplaceable. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Blizzard for Warcraft Reforged had an anti-cheat guy that knew the Warcraft 3 anti-cheat very well. He worked on the original and then he worked on the Reforged. When he quit, they couldn't find anyone else to do the same job, or so I've heard. And therefore Warcraft released without edits to the anti-cheat, which is why there were people getting false positive banned upon release of Reforged. Now you might be right that it's not irreplaceable, but hiring someone else to figure out the old system would cost them more money than keeping the same guy, probably. And maybe nobody else wanted to join in on it, or maybe they didn't want to spend another money on the new anti-cheat guy. But I would say that some people are irreplaceable, or at least prohibitive to replace, because they represent more value than trying to find someone else. They still want good value. Anyway, let's go on. Another few weeks, 3 months. So he goes nuclear. He tells everyone, and he says he's going to stop the job if there's no. So he puts an ultimatum and a threat and a shame face. Suddenly, people have something to say. This entire time, HR have not responded once, and they finally reply, inviting me for a quick call. It is in this call that HR asked me, what promotion? I have no idea what you're talking about. At this point, I raised a formal complaint. When they say this, right, that's not just shaken out of their sleeve. They've already thought about how to respond. They realize he's got nothing solid. He has attacked them. Although I understand where he's coming from, I don't think it was tactful. He has attacked them. So they decide to hard ass and just, they realize that they can just deny that it ever was talked about. So this is what he called gaslighting, right? But this is their chosen strategy, which is kind of scummy. But I also want to say that I understand that they're doing it. Not that I agree with it. It is scummy, right? Overall, it's scummy. They said you're going to get a promotion. He didn't get it. I am saying, though, I do understand that they're doing it. Because he's made an enemy of them. And enemies do evil things. I'm not victim blaming, but I understand that they're doing it. So he raised a formal complaint. I had months of messages, emails that I sent to HR to explain what I was talking about, and they finally reply with, you seem to be confused. There is no promotion. Leadership is a lateral move. It's just a change of responsibility. There's no pay increase. I was livid, naturally, and yes. Jeez. It's not funny, but it's not funny. But I don't know. I don't actually understand fully why I'm laughing. Like, it's so evil. I don't know. Huh? You were saying he's naive, thus it's blaming too? No, look. There's a difference with blaming and saying that you can be naive, right? If you tell me that if I hold my hand in the fire, it's not gonna hurt, and I put my hand in the fire, you still set me up for failure, but I'm naive to do it. I did it. It's my fault that I put my hand in the fire, but you were still not moral when you did it, right? It's not 100% the same example, maybe, perhaps. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be naive, and you can invite certain negative outcomes, especially when you're dealing with a soulless company that doesn't care about you. In an ideal world, it would have never got to the point where he went nuclear, and he would have never been abused and used. In an ideal world, this guy is the good guy, and he is the good guy here, right? And nobody would take advantage of him. And there might be other companies where none of that would have happened. I mean, technically, companies never have a soul, right? The entity of a company never has a soul. But there's going to be good and bad people working at various companies. Who are you dealing with? I was livid and I asked what any normal fucking rational human would. Why would anybody want that promotion then? Which obviously they then did the old, I can see you're frustrated. I can see how you misinterpreted this. Yeah, I'm not surprised about this. He's going to learn from this though. The investigation from the formal complaint comes back after a few weeks, and after some careful deliberation decides that HR did nothing wrong. Oh, they investigated themselves and followed all processes correctly. So I hand in my resignation about an hour later, but it doesn't end there. Because no, HR then told me that because of my role as a lead, I had gained inexplicable knowledge that would put me at a business risk to work. Oh no, they didn't do the non-compete. No. So they're activating a non-compete clause that restricts me from working anywhere at all for 3 months. Oh, that's just dirty. Vengeance play. Oh my god. The non-compete would have been in his initial contract, yes. They cannot suddenly create a new rule if it wasn't in his initial contract. That means that the contract that he has would have something about that. All right, 3 months is nothing though? Of course, what do you mean 3 months is nothing? People that got let go from Riot, they got 6 months severance pay. He got negative 3 months severance pay. How can you say that's nothing? He was not a lead formerly, no? Yeah. Oh yeah, because of my role as a lead now. Oh yeah, huh, I wonder, but I mean, that's the phrasing thing. We would have had... He didn't get let go, he left. Yeah. Yeah. He says no compete is because of... Yeah, that's true. That's true. The lead role position had no contract yet, but here they say because of the role as a lead, you have gained knowledge. Then you should say, what do you mean? I've never been a lead here. I've never been a lead at Blizzard. I don't have any information. What information do you think I have? I can see how you might misinterpret that because of the work I've been doing. Yeah, and then you just start working somewhere else. But actually what he needs is a lawyer, not a Twitter crowd, right? Just go to a lawyer and pay the few hundred for them to look at it and see if you have a case or whatever. And sometimes there's a no cure, no pay lawyer, and then you don't pay anything if they believe in your case. And you may be rightfully thinking, oh, it's a paid 3 months, right? You can't stop someone for working. Incorrect. Yeah. But, yeah, this isn't something to... I mean, you can rage about it, of course, but, like, he needs a lawyer. I said I can't survive for 3 months without pay. I've got mortgage, and they looked me in the eye and said, well, you probably shouldn't have signed that contract then. Within a few months, I was locked out of Slack email, and that was the end of my time at Blizzard. If anyone has continued this far, thank you for listening. I don't know what the point is, and I needed to get it off my chest. Blizzard has had the opportunity to do the right thing, and they failed. Thanks, everyone that purchased a mentoring session or portfolio review with me at the end of last year. It was literally saving me that I was not able to go into debt, so I'm grateful. Yeah. They're pretty evil in how they handled this. Blizzard handled this very harsh in their response to his nuclear, and initially it was wrong to like fill his head with ideas of promotion and then to make him do all this work and not reward him for it. Pirate Software replies spicy. Working at Blizzard was easily some of the best and worst experiences I've had anywhere during my career so far. A number of the issues you've described here are not unique, which is the real nightmare. When I was on night crew quality assurance, I was paid $10.50 per hour, when the starting rate for a grocery bagger at Trader Joe's was $12. What? I think in the Netherlands, if you work night shift, you get paid overtime rate. Always. That's what I believe. Which is like ×2 or ×3 or something. Is that true? Here in Canada too? Yeah, so he should be getting at least 24. Same in Sweden. Because the Netherlands has sane labor laws, yeah. I think nighttime or overtime is ×2 payment of your usual salary or the usual salary for the job. And then there's a ×3 modifier as well. I don't know when the ×3 modifier gets used. Maybe someone can fill me in on that. If you do it during a holiday and nighttime, it's ×3. Oh, there we go. Like, let's say if you do like Christmas night or Christmas nighttime or something, special holidays. Oh, yeah. One day during our shift, we were told a critical task had come in and we all needed to be on immediately. Okay, so this should be a 3 times hazard pay then. The task sheet was on paper and had like 30 or so steps. We were told to read the entire thing and then perform the task. Reading through, I found a step in the middle that said to turn off my computer, stand up and leave the room. After fully reading the rest of the sheet, I did so. The last 2 people on my team to do so were fired, and the rest of us went to day crew. My pay was then reduced by 50 cents due to no longer having a night crew differential. What the... Wait, what? What the fuck? What is this? Squid Games? That's a thing? But what's the basis for this judgment criterion? It's like Squid Game. The slowest gets out. This is like 8-year-old games in school. This is psychopathic. The critical task was a reading test. Wait. I think I failed the reading test too. Wait, let me see. Wait, hold on. Can someone explain this? Can someone explain this? Were you not supposed to turn off your computer? Or were you supposed to do it fast? You were. Okay. Oh, so anyone that's doing the task, skip the middle part. Right? They skipped the middle part, so they didn't turn it off. No? Yeah. He says... in the middle, it said turn it off and leave. So anyone that skipped reading this and didn't read the whole thing would keep at their computer, right? They were too slow. I don't get it, but I'm definitely fired. I still think... But anyway, it's still pretty psychopathic, whichever interpretation. All right, cool. I am now fired from a job that I've never had. And Chris Sayers is also going to look for a new one. I wish him luck. Yo, it's a few hours later, and I get it now. You were supposed to read the whole task in advance so that you know what you're going to be doing. And then if you start working on step 1, then you would be... You didn't read the middle part yet. And so you start working on step 1, and then finally when you get to the middle part, then you realize that you should have already turned it off and walk away. But people that did pre-read it as instructed did get it, and therefore they were faster, and so the slow ones got fired. I got it now. Can I come back to the job?